this imbalance that I keep referencing is this. We see it in Genesis. It's imagine if Chokmah and his grayness, right, was at the high at number one, and Keter was at number two, what would be happening right now? Nothing, because Chokmah regulates the principle of rhythm. So by being at the top, which is exactly where he belongs, then nothing happens because he's maintaining absolute balance, which is a complete description of the before times before the Big Bang. And then science says, for no known reason, this is where you have to take your leap of faith, and why I call all physicists the high priests of prevailing orthodoxy, because they get to tell the story of the before times and then everything that precedes after that, right? So, but they're drawing it from this. They're drawing it from this insight that you can grasp here, that an agreement was made and a statement then was given, let there be light, which then the Father becomes the Son, the Father Chokmah becomes now the Son, and the Son becomes the Father. All these aphorisms that you get from the Bible immediately stand out as clues for breaking all this down and understanding what's going on, because Keter is seen now as the Father and Chokmah is the Son. Chokmah being the progeny between Binah and Keter. And a long time ago, I simply, out of frustration, just laid it out because I could see that. And then after giving that thought, I recognized what I had described was what ultimately should be, which is balance. But we're at a point of imbalance, which permits everything then to continue indefinitely. It's like riding a bike. As long as we go forward, the motion is perpetual. The moment that something stops or slows it down, the universe will collapse. But because of that first sound, that the om, whatever you want to call it, that first intonation, remember, in the beginning was the word. That is the description, the allowance, allow light to have preeminence. And by doing that, we have creation. It can't work the other way. To unwind it all, darkness must be permitted. And it's interesting, the difference in effect between how light affects darkness and how darkness affects light. When you light something in absolute darkness, it banishes the darkness. It creates a field of illumination. And then when you get to the very edge, you get to see darkness and what it does, which is that it literally erodes. It chews up the light. And we call this, the inverse square rule, right? So as the farther out you go, you can actually predict how much the darkness is going to eat up the light. But where we exist in our frame of reference, this universe, there is no absolute darkness anywhere, and there is no absolute light. It's because it can't exist, because the entire universe is a soul expression. Because that's the definition of a soul, is that it has a beginning and therefore it will have an end. So we are part of the animus universa, the universal soul. We say the animus mundi because we like to tie ourselves to earth, but this is just the jumping point to all of actual reality. And we can work with that by understanding these principles. That's why I get so dang excited about this, because the tarot is way more than simply a means of prognostication. The true prognostication, the true magic, comes by understanding how all this pieces together and then being able to turn it on.